So far, everything we've been doing in Word has been with the default paper size of 8.5 by 11. Even changing the orientation a couple lessons ago to landscape didn't actually change the size of the paper we were using, it just turned the paper on its side. Well, sometimes we need to use other paper sizes, depending on our project. Legal size paper is often used in, you guessed it, legal documents. And 11 by 17 is another paper size that gets used when creating documents where the paper will be folded into two to create a booklet's type or style of project. Regardless, you'll need to know how to change the size and then also choose where the paper is coming from when it's time to print. So the document I'm working with here is Recipe Book 6. Now if you haven't opened this and you've skipped to this lesson, just go to your Office button, then Open, and you'll find Recipe Book 6 here in the Lesson 6 folder of your exercise files. So make sure you've got that one open. So this document, if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner, is actually 30 pages long. I just wanted you to see that because we're using 8.5 by 11 length paper here, and when we change it to a longer paper like legal, you'll see that it actually affects the length of the document. So let's do that now. What we're going to do is actually go up to the Page Layout tab here on the ribbon, and then you're going to see the Size button just down below that. When I click on that, I get all of the choices including legal. There's executive, A4 is popular over in Europe, A5, B5, there's an envelope, A6, and there's a scroll bar over here and you can see the list goes on. So I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to select legal 8.5 by 14. That automatically changes my entire document to legal size paper. So if I was to print this, I'd need to put legal paper into my printer. Look at the bottom left-hand corner. The length of the document just got shortened by a few pages because we're using longer pages. Now, just choosing another size may not be enough when it comes time to print. You may also need to choose where the paper will come from in your printer. For example, I don't have a second tray on my printer, so I might have to feed legal paper manually. Some printers have a legal tray, while others have one tray but it's adjustable. So let's choose our source next, and we can do that from a couple of places. If we went up to the Size button and went down to More Paper Sizes, that actually brings up the Page Setup dialog. The Page Setup dialog box can also be accessed, I'm going to move it out of the way, by clicking the dialog box launcher right here in the bottom corner of the Page Setup group. Now either way, we need to click the Paper tab here. Here's where we can see that we selected legal. It's 8.5 by 14, and we could have done that from here as well. But down below we've got a paper source section. And you can see we can choose the source for our first page and every other page after that. And the first page is sometimes different because when you're printing covers, for example, you might have a special manual tray for, who knows, it could be cardboard or glossy paper, something like that. So it's kind of nice that we can choose a different source for our first page and then another source for all of our other pages. Now if you're like me and you're using a printer that only has one slot for paper, well, it's going to be the default tray for both cases. In some other instances you might want to choose automatically select. So Word will be smart enough to know which tray, depending on the type of printer you have, if you've got extra trays, to automatically select the right one. So we'll leave it at default tray for both of these. We'll come down here, there's our preview showing us our legal paper. We'll click OK, and now we've selected our source as well. Alright, that's it, we're done. Now, once we're done editing and saving this document and we're ready to print, our document will print correctly and we won't be wasting any paper.